Hi there, it's Liz from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me today for recorded content. Normally I would be going live at this time, but because I'm taking some time off between the Christmas and New Year holidays, I'm having a break. So I mentioned on my Tuesday live last week that I had found a template for a frame that I'd forgotten all about. And this was while I was tidying out my studio. So I thought I would show you how to make with it. So let me flip the camera down and we'll have a look. So this is the template I found. This is a piece of international A4 card that I have drawn on. These areas get cut away, etc. This is what you get from a piece of international A4 using this template. Now I am aware that not everyone wants a frame to be this size, and not everybody wants to use international A4, or indeed I've used 1/2 inch measurements, so I've got a 1/2 inch depth here. Some people may want to use metric. So I'm going to try and explain how it all works. So I'm going to swap this out now. And actually I might as well get rid of that piece of paper. So this is a frame I made from an 8-inch piece of, it's now retired, it was the Host Designer Series paper from the last mini catalogue. So the one that is, it's still available as we speak, assuming it's not out of stock. So it is the current mini catalogue. So this was 8 inches square. The frame measures 4 inches. The area in the middle is 3 inches. So if you're going to have a 1/2 inch depth to your frame, to get a 3-inch area in the middle, you need to add 5 inches to your final size. So to get a 3 by 3, you add 5. 5 plus 3 makes 8. And that's because we've got 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch underneath, and then that's all being rolled over, so it's taking up another 1/2 inch. Now if you want to use centimetres, I'd probably use, well, you could use centimetres, it would all be very much smaller, but again the basic maths works. So you need to think about the size you want to end up with as your middle, and then add to get the right size. Now I'm going to be using the Dainty Flowers paper, which is one of the Celebration papers. It is gorgeous. I have used it in a previous live, and if you go and have a look and search for Dainty Flowers, you will find that. This is one of those lovely sheets that if you cut it in half, you then can get 3 card fronts from each half. So it's really quick crafting. It coordinates with the, I want to say Dainty Florals, Dainty Daisies. Anyway, it's in the new mini catalogue, and it's just a really pretty set. It's got some nice neutrals, so certainly this one you could use for masculine cards. This is just a watercolour, masculine. Green I always think is, you know, easy for masculine, more watercolour. So a really useful set. One of the sheets has, and it's a sheet I used before. Where are you? There you are. This sheet has 6 frames-ish and 2 pieces, and this is the piece that I'm going to be using to go in the middle of my frame for this project. So I have cut one of those out, and it measures 4 inches, slightly more than 4 inches, by slightly more than 4 3/4. I'm going to say it's 4 by 4 3/4. So in order to get this size middle, I need to add 5 inches to the 4 and the 4 3/4, because I'm using 1/2 inch increments. So I have cut a piece that is 9 3/4 by 9 inches. And I'm using this pattern because it's plain, non-directional. It's the back of this foliage paper. So let me grab my scoring board which I've already got out, which is why I can't find it on my shelf, and show you what to do. So I want this to be the outside, so I'm going to score that side. And I'm going to score each side at 1/2 inch 4 times. So I'm doing half, 1, 1.5 and 2. And I'm then turning and going again. By doing this, it means that you know that you've got everything absolutely square, rather than going over here and you may not have cut your paper exactly right, so you may end up with things that aren't quite what you were hoping for. But if you start at the left hand edge each time, you will end up with everything where you want it. Now, the only other thing we have to do is add a little extra score line. So if I bring in my template, this is all cut away, but we also want to cut away this piece, but I haven't scored that. So I'm going to have that at the top of my 9-inch piece. Or am I? No, I'm going to have it at the top of my 9 3/4 inch piece. So I'm going to have it so that it's at the, I do mean the top of my 9-inch piece. So I'm going to come across an extra 1/2 inch, so I've scored at 2 inches. I'm going to come to the 2.5, and I'm going to go down 2 score lines. And then I'm going to go to the bottom, and I'm going to count 4 divots across from my last score line. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That is also 2.5, and I'm scoring to that same second score line. I'm going to do the same again on the other side. So we go down 2 score lines, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, we go up 2 score lines, and that's all our scoring done. Remember, you will be able to watch this back any number of times you wish to see exactly what's happening. So if you're getting lost, don't worry. So I'm going to burnish everything, and I'm going to fold towards this, which is the one I don't want. So I'm having the, I think it's Fresh Freesia pattern on the outside of my picture frame. So I hope you've had a wonderful Christmas, or indeed Hanukkah if you are Jewish, because I know it's about the same time of year. We will have had some very dear friends of ours are coming up for Christmas Day, and then on the 27th, which isn't Boxing Day, well, it sort of is Boxing Day because Boxing Day can't fall on a Sunday. We've got my brother and sister-in-law coming over, and my niece. So that's all of the full score lines. Don't worry too much about the part ones, they are there, but just sort of, you know, make them feel wanted. But obviously you don't want to score quite as ferociously as going the whole way across. Now, I have got to get rid of everything that's in the corners. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut down with my score lines into the waist. I'm going to cut down my extra score line, fold that out of the way, cut diagonally across that little square, just that one square, and then cut down to the last score line. And then this we get rid of, and again I'm putting the score line into the waist. So that is what I've got left. That's got to come out of every side. So again, I'm going down the short score line with the score line in the waist, as in rubbish, diagonally from one corner to the other, and then down to the bottom score line, and then cut all of that away with the score lines in the waist. Same again, this time I'm going to cut that long piece first. Ooh, let's try cutting it so it's in the waist. So that's up to that last score line. Then we go down this one with the score line going into the waist, cut diagonally across one width, and then get rid of that piece. So we've got rid of 3, now we just need to do the last one. And again, I'll do this the same as I did the other side. Doesn't matter which way you do it, it's whatever you prefer, but I'll show you both. So the long score line, the short score line, the diagonal, and then just get rid of your waist piece, making sure you do not cut your fingertip in the process. I was pushing and suddenly realised that the snips were very close to my fingers. So that's our frame piece. And then all we need to do is grab some tear and tape, and on the outside piece we're going to add some tear and tape, and I like to add it close to but not on that last score line. And we do that all the way around. You could use multi-purpose liquid glue for this if you wished. Oh, took half of the paper with me, doesn't matter because it's hidden. Right, okay. Now I'm going to fit this dry, so I'm going to fold these in. So what we're doing is we're pushing this cut edge against the last score line, and that, whoops, that is going to be our frame. Yeah. So let's just check that we've got the right width. There's not much I can do if we haven't, but let's just check. So that's going there, all the way in. There we go. So yeah, that's just about right. So I'm going to do my dry fit, and my dry fit would like to work nicely. I'm just going to take a pencil and draw a line at the top and the bottom. They're going to be covered up, so it doesn't matter if they're showing. And again, so dry fit, so this piece is right underneath, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, and again I'm going to draw a line, do the same with this at the top and the bottom. Now those may show, so do be slightly more careful with those. Right, so we've now got pencil lines, which if I extend them a bit, you should be able to see. It comes to there, to there. So I've now got these pencil lines in the corner. So if I pop this in, I just want to make sure that the corners of this piece go over the corner of those pencil lines, so that I then know that when I fold this over, it's going to be trapped. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So we won't see the cut edge because it's going to be trapped underneath that frame. Probably need to go a little bit that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some liquid adhesive and I am going to scribble across the middle of my piece and pop this in and just do that dry fit again before we press it down totally. So I possibly want to slide it up a little bit that way. There we go. And now I can press that down, get my bone folder, give it a good burnish, making sure to not move it in the process. And then we can fit this together. We are going to need glue dots. So my glue dots for some reason are coming off on this piece. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And the glue dots are going on this triangle in each corner. So I'm just going to add a glue dot to each corner from the reel. It's much easier doing it from the reel than trying to pick it up with your take your pick. Although you could, if you want, to pick it up with your take your pick. I just find this is easier. It's less likely to, your glue dot's less likely to misshape and fold in half and all those other things that glue dots have a habit of doing, particularly when you don't want them to. Last one. You could use liquid adhesive, but I do prefer a glue dot for this. There we go. Get rid of the waste. And if you do have, as I have here, a little bit of the glue dot just slightly over the edge, just take your pick and roll it in and it will be fine. Right, I need my take your pick anyway. Do not turn your work over at this point because you're going to have glue all over the place. Do not flatten it down. You don't want your glue dots attaching to things. You don't want your tear and tape attaching to things, so just be a little bit careful. We're going to put the long sides in, so don't do what I've just done, which is stick your glue dot down on two corners. Come on, there we go. Right, so I'm going to do the long sides first. So I'm going to fold that in half and then take that and fold it over, give it a good press, and there is our first edge. So fold this in half, fold it over, give it a good press, and our second side is all good. Can't do that with the ends because we've got something in the way. We also need to make sure that these end up perpendicular, so because you don't want a nasty gaping hole at the corner. So you're going to want to keep an eye on all of that. You can do that half fold bit, but then it all just gets a bit messy. So actually it's easier just to pull these bits out first, roll these ones over. You'll feel when you've hit the back, pop that down, but only just, and then pop your corners in so that your glue dots catch. They're only going to catch very slightly, but they will catch. So same again here, take this piece, fold the sticky bit underneath until it's resisting, then pushing the sides of your frame in as you push this piece up, and you end up with your frame like that. So that is what you get when you use that. So as I say, you can do the maths for all set shapes. I was going to say all sizes. No, all sizes, I would say. Shapes doesn't work. It's got to be rectangular or square. But there you are. Little frame for you. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, thumbs up is always appreciated. if you've got any questions, please leave those in the description bar below. I will have a photograph of this over on my website, and there's a link to that in the description bar. And I will try as best I can to explain in words how to do that. So yeah, thank you very much indeed for watching me today. If you're new and you would like to subscribe, hit the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. And if you hit the alert bell for all alerts, you will know when I've posted a new video, when I go live, all those good things. You'll get an email to let you know. Have a fantastic new year. As I say, remember that the last chance list is still available. The clearance rack should still have items on it. And I mean, there are 60% discounts on both mini album and clearance rack items. Things are going now, and as I'm recording this ahead of time, I can't tell you what is still available, but do go and have a look. And then the new mini and celebrations start on the 5th of January. So have a very good new year, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.